What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate. Reverse rants, no hate. So, listen, I want to talk about Chantelle Cameron versus Katie Taylor. Now, it was a good, solid fight, and the right person got their hand raised. Now, I saw the fight. I also, went online, look at comments, that listen to the things that people are saying, and now, Katie Taylor, she was gracious in defeat, just as she is. When she wins, she's not a trash talker. She's always really polite and show good sportsmanship every time. Now, the fans, not so much. The fans are screaming robbery, robbery. Oh, there's no way that Chantelle Cameron won. What fight were they watching? And I'm just like, yeah, okay. So personally, I don't care about what the fans say. I look at what goes on. Yeah, we do have robberies that happens in fights. Yeah, there's been times where I felt like certain fighters should have won. Every decision is not necessarily a robbery just because you don't like the decision. Okay, but clearly, look, Chantel was controlling the pace. She was able to stay close to Katie Taylor and make Katie Taylor punch when she didn't really want to punch. She had her against the ropes a lot. Her foot speed was too much. That jab right hand was on point, and Katie Taylor was taking the shots. But the point is, she was getting hit. Okay, she was losing. She was getting beat to the punch. It's just basically somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. Okay, if you listen, like just listening to the commentators, you would have thought that Chantelle Cameron was losing the fight. If you wasn't watching it but listening, you would have thought she was losing, and she's clearly winning this fight. And when it gets to the point where they pretty much just have no choice but to say she may need a knockout to win, or she's gonna have to pick up the pace. They kept saying that, like she had to step it up. She was losing the fight, and she lost the fight. Okay, people have to grow up and stop all this hating, hating, hating simply because someone just simply makes a simple comment and says that I thought Chantel won. Okay, Chantel Cameron should not be in a position that she's in right now in terms of the perspective. Meaning, they're already talking about a rematch in Dublin would be massive. Didn't they just fight in Dublin? So my thing is, everything that I'm hearing right now, and was hearing yesterday when the fight happened, was it's everything is based on trying to even imagine the rematch, okay, being in favor of Katie Taylor. Okay, Chantel Cameron should be, her. And look, she's a main event, right? She should be able to headline main events. She should be. This is undisputed. We're talking about. Okay, she just defeated Katie Taylor. This is something that's been like really plaguing boxing for the longest time. We're basing things off popularity, okay, versus the actual talent in the ring. And when the odds are against you, depending on who you are, it's okay. You're entitled. I mean, we saw George Cambosis, give Devin Haney these ridiculous demands, and that was an attempt to simply make him say, you know what, I'm not doing that. We just seen Tyson Fury give Alexander Usyk these ridiculous demands, okay, and then Usyk had enough. You know what, I'm not doing that. The difference was Devin Haney, he did it, and he went to Australia twice and beat this guy and got the less of the lion's share both times and had to fight in his country both times. Now, I don't know what the stipulations is in a rematch for, Chantel Cameron and Katie Taylor at the moment, but everything that I'm hearing is all evolving around Katie Taylor. And they're treating this woman, Chantelle Cameron, who just defeated her, as if everything is okay, just play by our rules. Now, you can even take what happened with Bevel and Canelo. Canelo saying, in terms of a rematch, same deal as last time. Now, what that really says to me is this: you're trying to use your A side power, your popularity. You can't be the A side, okay? You're the A side in popularity still, but you just got beat by this man. Now, you hear Mauricio Suleiman saying that the WBC will not sanction, okay, a match between Canelo and Bevel, which means they can't stop him from fighting, Bevel, but it wouldn't be for undisputed because the WBC wouldn't be on the line. Okay, so even if that fight was to happen, which I don't think it will, but even if it was, well, Canelo still will hold the WBC, even if the other sanctioning body said we don't have a problem with him fighting people, right? So just saying. So with Chantelle Cameron, I'm hearing, oh, maybe go down and fight for the titles at the lighter weight. Why? Why does Chantelle Cameron have to go down to do what? So now we have this tit for tat. Okay, I came up to your weight class to fight you. Now come down to my weight class to fight me. No, you wanted to make history. You wanted to try to accomplish something different, right? Just like Canelo going up to 175 to fight for Bevel's titles. It only makes sense again for the 1 millionth time if Bevel comes down to fight at 168 and all the titles on the line. If not, why is he wasting his time? He already beat you at 175. He has nothing else to prove. And he beat you pretty soundly, right? Okay. And yet you had people, yo, man, Canelo didn't lose that fight. I don't see how he lost. Only thing Bevel did, he was coming forward a little more, but excuses. This is the type of thing where, we look at certain things and some people just, they're not even some, most. They're all about, I'm going to cheer for my countrymen, even to the point where, okay, they lose fair and square and you're still making excuses. Then you have some who say dumb things, like, even dumber things like, well, the fight could have went either way, right? But the wrong person won. Then it couldn't have went either way. Because if it could have went either way, there's no need to say the wrong person won, right? We had that with the Haney Loma fight. People was, giving their opinions on that fight, and it is what it is. What matters, like Devin Haney said at the post conference, is what the judges' score was. It doesn't matter what I scored, what you scored, what Max Kellerman scored, anybody else. Same thing in the Chantelle Cameron fight, against Katie Taylor. I'm hearing all of this, but this person, the only scorecards that matters is what the judges' scorecards say. So even when there's decisions that I don't agree with, it is what it is. There's nothing to cry about. Now, which Loma did cry when he went backstage, in the dressing room. And I'm looking like, yeah, dude, like he's trying to hold tears back. It happens. Fighters go through it, all right? But just saying, this Chantelle Cameron and Katie Taylor fight, they need to look to build Chantelle Cameron up. See, here's the problem with boxing. There's no balance with how they try to market fighters. So the more popular fighter, now if you're the more popular fighter that people want to see lose, like Floyd was, then yeah, they try to, anybody that you're fighting, they just hope that they beat you, and they try to give them credit and a sense of where, if you do win, remember I said it first, but it's not like they put any real effort into like marketing these fighters. So my thing is, instead of having Chantelle Cameron being treated like, well, it's like an honor to be in there with Katie. It's like, yeah, they asked Devin the same thing. What was it like to be in there fighting with Loma? Like, man, the fighters are in there to win. They're not in here to sit and marvel at, oh my God, I'm standing across the ring from Lomachenko. I'm standing across the ring from Katie Taylor. I can't believe it. No, you're there to want to fight. It should be an honor for any warriors to share the ring. But, and when it's bad blood or when there's like emotions going, a lot of times people say things, they act a certain way, but my thing is this, and this is something I remember as a kid. I was told, if you lose at something, don't cry. I don't care how passionate you are, you're not going to win every time, right? And it's possible you might, but in case you don't, the same way that when you win, right, you're celebrating, you're pumping your fists, right? No, just understand if you lose, you just lost. Understand why you lost. Fix that. Try it again. So, I mean, we've seen many fighters break down at the end of a fight because they tried so hard and they came up short. But, listen, it's a fight, man. It's a fight. Life goes on. And if you don't know how to accept the fact that you lost, you can very easily have yourself mentally to where your spirits are broken, so to speak, okay? And you just can't get that focus back that you need. Now, Chantelle Cameron, I feel like they need to be marketing her. Guys like Keyshawn Davis and Frank Martin. I tell people this. Instead of jumping on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and making a bunch of, videos or tweets or little messages just talking trash, why don't you guys have your own personal, okay, social media platforms where you have someone running those where your work is being put in. There's things that people get to see of you, because it's like the only time these fighters want to make themselves seen is when, certain content creators, hunt them down to try to get interviews, or when they want to, voice their opinions about a certain fight that just happened, or everybody want to talk about who did what, who said what, and it's usually something sarcastic, or if it was me, I would have did this, I'd have did that to you, or you like trash last night and all of this. So what it comes down to is, in this day and time, okay, if you do not market yourself, if you do not know how to brand yourself, it's going to be harder for you to get your name where it need to be, and it shouldn't have to be that. You guys have no problem with going on Facebook, Facebook Live or FaceTiming people and doing these little interviews where you're basically just trash talking and saying a whole lot of nothing. And it's like you could be using this time to connect with the people in so much more of a professional way, so much more of a different way. But people are getting to look into your life, to see you, to see what you're doing. But instead, it's just a whole lot of, I would do this and I would do that. And what we're having is people, because of popularity, being able to walk in to, different weight classes, find themselves in fights that they don't even deserve to be in. Okay, what's really needed is just simple. Use your common sense and understand that these sports are all about money. Don't put yourself in a position where you are in a sport, you are a talented fighter, even when you have championship gold around your waist, strapped across your shoulders and holding them in your hands, and you are a multi, a belt holder, but you're basically being overlooked. And you're depending on, people keep talking about these marketing team. What marketing team? You have management, you have different people working around you, but you're paying all these people to do simple things. I mean, you have no problem posting pictures when you at a club somewhere. You have no problem sitting there posting videos and stuff when you're at strip clubs that you're sitting at somebody else's fight. So you have plenty of time. I mean, you can't say you don't have a half an hour, 20 minutes out of a day where you can actually do something just to get the people to know you. Aside from just talking trash and saying a bunch of nothing and then having a bunch of junk fights before you finally can, get your name out there. You look at a guy who's struggling right now to get the fights that he want in Jerron Boots Ennis. He's at least 20 something fights in, where you have certain guys that are like 8 fights deep and then calling out champions, and like, you just finally stopped going, you just finally started going 10 rounds and you're trying to call out champions. Well, no, they know that if they get their names in the mix, then hey, Look at the guy, for example, that sparred Ryan. Remember? To King Ryan in sparring. I heard you with the body shot. Remember that? And now you lose to Tank. I'm sorry. Are you okay? What happened to him? Right? Last time we saw him, he was standing next to Devin Haney, in the pose position. And it's like, hey, listen, people, if you are trying to get your name out, you can't depend on on just, okay, I have a fight coming up. Let's have some type of little video package about me. No, I mean just in general. If guys like Jake Paul and Logan Paul and KSI and all these guys can have millions of subscribers and follows to their channels, and people are saying, but that's their fight. Their job is to fight. Their job is to focus on the fight. That's what they have a PR team for. Okay, well, the same way you're saying that, the same fucking fighters who have this talent but are being overlooked, they're all going through the same thing. So at what point do you not take things into your own hand and realize, nah, this is things I can do for myself? Now if you're sitting up here with some bougie mentality like, oh, that's beneath me, well, stay where you are. And it's just so simple, man. People got to think outside the box. It's simple. And I'm saying all of this because it's just reality, man. I mean, I'm looking at Chantelle Cameron. I'm watching the fight, and I'm listening to the commentators, and I'm like, they clearly want Katie Taylor to win. I believe in this. You can't be a loyal fan and be a commentator. You can't be a loyal fan and be a referee. You can't be a loyal fan and be a judge. You have to be fair. Call it down the middle. That's what you have to be. Fans are mostly never going to admit the reality of what they're looking at. As long as a fight goes the distance, most of them, it don't care if your eyeball was hanging from the retina dangling across your cheeks, they're still going to say you won the fight. That's just how a lot of people are. So you cannot have a position. If you had to go to court and you found out that the person that you was trying to sue, that was their dad or their mom or their husband or wife or their brother or sister, you'd feel like, oh, hell, I'm dead. Right? Because, hey, that's family. They're going to show favoritism, right? So, it's the same thing. For you to judge a fight, for you to referee a fight or anything, be a part of any sanctioning body, of course, you don't want to see favoritism. So for Chantelle Cameron, hopefully her and her team understand, don't have a B-side mentality. Start to market yourself. Start to put yourself out there. One female fighter who I kind of feel for, if I was to really have sympathy for anybody in that situation, is Ramba Ali. Because nobody talks about her. The only time you even hear or see a video of her is when she has a fight, when she's actually on the card. Not even before the fight so much. Press conference and then the fight. But other than that, you don't see anything. I like to watch, one championship fighting. And there's a fighter named Stant Fairtex. She became super popular. She does MMA, she does Muay Thai and kickboxing, okay? She became super popular from, she got these little dances that she make up. She's always smiling. Even in the ring, she does certain things to try to entertain the fans. And win, lose, or draw, Stant Fairtex has got more people drawn to her, equally as much as what she does in the ring and outside. The thing is, in the ring, she brings it as well. I don't mean like Ryan Garcia having endorsements and, having a strong social media following. That's fine. The only issue with Ryan Garcia was him being overrated. People seeing him as being better than what he actually was. And in that sense, it hurt him because he's looking at a popularity thing. And he's looking at the fact that, if you're the fighter that people really want to see win, then in your head, oh, you think that you've been doing enough. You've been doing enough to promote yourself, to get yourself out there, right? You've been doing enough. And just even in a silly way, Rolly Romero, jumping on in front of a camera, always being a clown, always being a goofball, just talking trash. He admits that he talks trash. Yes, okay, but the ability has to be there. That's one of the things that Stamp Fairtex has for her. Okay, that's one of the things she has for her. She brings it in the ring. So all the dancing and making up dances and coming to the ring dancing and the entertainment and all that, it's all good. But even when she show you her training, even just her day to day life, what she's eating, what she goes shopping, you know, uh, the relationship she has with her coach, stuff like that, that has nothing to do with any promotional team, just things that she do, and people get more into that. Not you just sitting there talking trash. I'd have did this. I'd have did that. Then you go and fight a C-class fighter. You go fight some journeymen. You struggle with them, but you're talking a whole lot of trash. That's not what I mean. Okay, people, each individual need to figure out what they need to do. But I feel like it's definitely necessary, and I'm saying it like again because if you look at Chantelle Cameron and what she's done, her name is not mentioned a whole lot. And again, any opponent name that's mentioned, but only mentioned in the sense of comparing them to if this person fights Katie Taylor, if this person fights Savannah Marshall, or if this person fights a Clarissa Shields. Okay, they need to learn in boxing how to brand and build up the names of their fighters. This is exactly why. Just say 98% of UFC cards during the course of a year, you always hear it's a stacked card from top to bottom. You never hear, well, this was a very filler card, and then they had, two good fights out of eight. No, that's the whole point. Stack the card from top to bottom. Boxing is in a position of, listen, if you can't put fights together, just think about what I'm saying. If you can't put fights together based on this A side, B side, oh, it's going to cost a lot of money to pay all these fighters. At least the fighters that will start to become more popular, okay, from even having their faces being seen and boxing itself, structuring itself to put things together. I got tons of ideas. I'm not giving my shit away for free. Hey, you motherfuckers, somebody go, damn, you know what? That is a great idea. And you ain't breaking me off no money. I didn't say certain things that's just really not even, it's just common sense. But I mean, in terms of branding and marketing, these people don't care. They think that they have it all together and they all about money to where they just want to put money fights together. But they're clearly focusing on the A side. So even when you do video packages of like a main event fight that's going to be a part of a card, you don't see none of these other fighters on the card faces being seen. Only time you see them is at the press conference, and it's the same tired thing all along. These are the guys who are going to be in there fighting when it's only crickets in the room, because you can hear the crickets. No cheers, no nothing, no reaction. It's like we're still in the COVID era. It's like, damn, you guys in here killing each other and nobody's watching it, right? Chantelle Cameron, I just feel like any fighter deserves better than that, you know, especially when, you are the champion. And not only the champion, but, undisputed. We saw Shakur Stevenson undisputed at 130, got the titles, but who were the names that were being called out at 130 that I want to see, after he beat Valdez and Jamal Herring, it's like, who was left that you really want to see him fight at 130? So it's like, you going to 135 is your best bet. Not only have you outgrown the division, and he himself was saying it was hard to make 130, right? So why is it like, but then when it comes to Devin having a hard time making 135, it's an excuse, right? And you come up to 135. The way Shakur Stevenson, even like when they asked him about fighting against Tank Davis, he said that Tank will be the A side. And he agrees. Yeah, Tank will be the A side. But the way that they speak about it makes it sound like Shakur Stevenson is some up and coming guy. Like, no, this guy is an established fighter. The thing is, these guys are still young, and they already achieved a lot. So for him to come up, These are fights. Him and Tank is a super fight, man. Him and Haney is a super fight. These guys don't even know how to market themselves. They are marketing themselves to where when they do speak, it's you're easy work. You're not on my level. I'm way better. You understand? They don't understand. They're speaking off ego and stupidity. Why? Because after the fight, that's when they want to give props to the opponent and talk about how great the opponent is and how. If you really feel someone's a C-class fighter, this is not a super fight. If you beat a C-class fighter, then you can't brag about it. Why bring up that fighter's name to prove that your resume is so stellar when you yourself are saying that these guys are C-class fighters? Now, if somebody is an actual C-class fighter and you feel that, okay, fine. But what I'm saying is when you know this whole thing of when you do fight a C-class fighter, you want to make it sound like you're fighting an A-class fighter. But when you have another A or B-class fighter in there, you want to make they're not on my level. Okay, well, show us. Show us. And instead of even saying what's next for Chantelle Cameron and letting her and her team speak on what their perspective is, what their goals are, everybody wants to tell Chantelle Cameron what her next move should be, and it involves Katie Taylor. It involves going down in weight. It involves that. It's like, no, that's not how this should work. That's not. And I just wanted to take the time to make this video because it's too much of catering to the so-called A side, even when they're not the A side. Catering to popularity and so now it's almost like you're being punished. You beat this superstar, right? You beat this star. Okay, now let's see. Where do you go from here? And they wound up fighting the tougher fights that the other champions didn't want to fight. Now, Katie Taylor doesn't fit that criteria because Katie Taylor was fighting. She wasn't ducking any challenges, and she wanted to get in there. She was getting there, mixing it up. Katie Taylor, she deserves all the props in the world because she is a good fighter. Now, a lot of people don't like Katie Taylor's styles because she throws a lot of shots, and it's like she's not really putting any hurt on anyone, but it is what it is. She still does what she does, and she's a solid fighter. Chantelle Cameron, just saying, we should harp less on talking about how great Katie Taylor is in defeat and constantly bringing up what Katie Taylor did and how she brought this to the sport. We get that. But at the same time, she just lost. And instead of giving this woman her just due, they're making it all about Katie Taylor. And this is nothing against Katie Taylor. I mean, I would think that would be common sense. You sitting here listening to what I'm saying all this time. It's not a thing against her. It's just the principles, man. It's the facts. Come on. You lose. Okay. We can't take away nothing that she's done. But this woman, this is her win. It's like somebody else celebrating their birthday on your birthday. Okay, your birthday is March 15th. Their birthday is August 1st, but they're celebrating their birthday on your birthday. They come to your party, okay, and they're singing happy birthday to that person, okay? They're blowing out their candles on their cake. You're standing up there with your arm crossed trying to figure out what's going on. Okay, that's what they're doing to Chantelle Cameron. I think that sucks. I mean, let plain and simple. And this thing, it doesn't go away. Like, people will hold on and, nope, Katie Taylor won. Right? So everything. Chantelle Cameron, all these people involved, all these powers that be, they need to get it together and start treating these fighters. You want to build stars, but you don't know how to build stars. You really don't. You really don't. And this is why, like, Michaela Mayer, who's a good fighter, loses to Alicia Baumgardner. She's trying to play off for the whole, for everybody that think that, she won the fight. Yeah. So they're catering to her, and she feels like she can just jump up and go in a different weight class and just automatically become the challenger for that belt over the females that's already been there long before her that hasn't gotten their shot yet. Now, in terms of popularity, it could work for her simply because of that. Okay, it's just like, for example, you hear me talk about title eliminators, and I say, well, how does a guy like Chris Arreola end up fighting in the title eliminator when he hadn't fought for like 2 years or something like that before he fought Andy Ruiz? Hey, Chris, how you doing? Listen, what kind of shape you in? Where's your weight at right now? Well, we want to put a title eliminator together, figuring, you have some respect on your name. and that this could be a good thing. Hey, it gives you an outlet to come back, and hey, if you win, you advance. Your opponent, Andy Ruiz. You interested? Okay, good. Okay, so we'll send contracts, paperwork. We'll set up a meeting. We'll talk. Simple, simple. Why was Deontay Wilder coming off two back-to-back losses and get a title eliminator against Robert Helenius? We'll try to find the weakest possible opponent that we can. Okay, this guy just beat three meatballs. We'll throw him in there with Deontay. He's a sacrificial lamb. Hopefully Deontay win. He's supposed to win. There's no way he should lose to Robert Helenius. Now let's say Robert Helenius wins this fight. Now who do they pull in there for Robert Helenius? Okay, as a title limited opponent. Someone that they didn't want to put Deontay in there with. Why? Because they want somebody that has more of a name. Notice what I didn't say. Robert Helenius doesn't have respect on his name. He's just a guy that's been fighting that nobody really cared about. You understand? But he has a nice personality. People like him for that reason. Yeah, great. That has nothing to do with the outcome of a fight. Okay? So whereas they wouldn't put Deontay Wilder in there with a Frank Sanchez or Jared Anderson, they probably would have did it more than likely to Robert Helenius. Why? Well, now we're in a position where one of these guys should beat him. We might just have a new star in the making. That's the dirty side of boxing. That's the ignorant side. Where, think about it. Robert Helenius gets a title eliminator shot when, because he's on a three fight winning streak. When you have undefeated guys who haven't lost to anybody. I mean, hell, for that matter, they listen. There's many people they could have different fighters they could have put in there with Deontay, but Deontay, his name is more marketable, than a lot of the other guys. And Deontay's no huge star. His popularity, him being in the ring with Tyson Fury, is pretty much his claim to fame. But I mean, there's different guys they could have put in there, against Deontay Wilder. And we know that. We know that Robert Helenius was not the best option. That was the worst option. With the 3-fight winning streak excuse. So, again, those type of things that, it's not like because I make this video that it's gonna stop. But if more people made videos bringing these things out, if more people, the right people would get involved in boxing, yeah, but everything is money, 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 money. And, hey, to each his own with that, but you see more fighters walk around with diamonds in their mouth and all the drip hanging around and all that, they do all that and that's all good, that you can afford these things, but at the same time, it's just like, this is what the focus is. And nothing's being done, like, so much for the sake of boxing. The sport of boxing, delivered to the fans of boxing. So crying all of these, sob stories because the fighter that you want to win loses, it doesn't change the fact. And also, think about it. You got Alicia Baumgartner, who was calling out who? Katie Taylor. She wanted Choi. We know what happened with Choi. But what I'm saying, so it wouldn't be Katie Taylor? Maybe not. You understand? What? Because these fights don't happen just because you call someone's name. But she won the fight against Michaela Mayer. So Michaela Mayer doesn't deserve a shot over the person that just beat her. You can cry, oh, but she was robbed, or what? You can say all of that. The reality is, boxing is about winning and losing. That's what it's about. Okay. And before I close this video, I just want to make a point that I've already made, and yesterday was a perfect example. When you hear me say, for diehard Canelo fans, you guys will applaud a fighter for getting his ass whooped and talk about how tough he is and how he didn't quit and how he didn't give up, even though the guy doesn't even belong in it, right? You applauded Ryan Garcia when he got dropped by Luke Campbell and he got up and he won the fight. Okay? You applauded Caleb Plant after you bashed him and called him trash and said he was a nobody and all these things you said about Caleb, but he went in there and he fought as he always do. He tried to win, and the one thing that's been plaguing him has been his conditioning, in stretch of a fight. And Canelo took advantage, and he wound up getting a stoppage. But y'all applauded him. Kudos to him. He's a tough guy. You know, he came to fight. Now, if Devin Haney had got dropped by Luke Campbell, you would never hear the end of it. Oh, this guy got dropped by Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell's not even a big puncher. If Devin Haney would have got his nose broken, got dropped twice, you guys wouldn't have said he was tough. You wouldn't have said that he was a warrior. And no, you would have just LOL, LOL, ha 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 ha. He got his ass whooped. That's what you would have saw. Okay, and proof and evidence of that is he went there with a guy that's a Hall of Famer, a future Hall of Famer, went 12 rounds, and was said that by this future Hall of Famer that he's not a world-class fighter, but you couldn't knock him down, couldn't knock him out, and was only managed to land, according to CompuBox, 5 punches more. No one made an excuse about his age, being too young, which basically I don't ever feel a person needs to make excuses. But not only that, how many people said, yo, give Devin his credit, man. The dude went in there and fought that little fight. Even though I think Lomachenko won, hey, man, he went in there and he fought, No, that's not what you got. What you got was highway robbery, worst decision I've ever seen in my life. Oh, I hope that they're going to fight this. Because Loma's manager said that, his trainer said that they're going to fight this, and this is a travesty. This is the worst. Every time someone lose, it just becomes the worst decision. We just seen Barroso have the referee Tony Weeks stop a fight when this guy wasn't even hurt. That was one of the worst decisions I ever saw. This was no robbery, regardless. And this is no different. Like in my last video, I pointed out different fights where it's the same exact nonsense excuses. Like they make it sound like somebody dominated. And I'm bringing this to people's attention for the fact that people hear things, and a lot of times they don't even see anything on their own. They just hear, and they go by what they hear. To say one guy completely dominated the other, it is as clear as day that Lomachenko dominated Devin Haney, where the CompuBox numbers state that Devin Haney landed 90 punches, okay, and Lomachenko landed 95. A five punch punches that connected difference from 90 to 95, and you call that domination? That would be like a basketball team. One team, the Bulls beat the Wizards 95 to 90, and you say that they blew the Wizards out. No, they beat them by 5 points. Okay? In basketball, of course, you don't have all these other intangibles, power shots. It don't matter how many 3 points you hit, how many 2 points you hit. At the end of this, it's strictly by who won. It doesn't matter how high you jumped in the air, what type of fancy reverse layups you did, and 360 dunk. None of that matters. You could have did all that. The point is at the end, how many points was landed. Well, basketball doesn't go by rounds. Okay, so there's different things that judges look at. You could have had different judges with the same exact outcome. They might have gave it to Loma. You understand what I mean? So it either way. But the point, what I'm saying is the exaggeration. Now, you're taking it out on Devin because the judges scored. One judge had it 116, 112. And you're taking that on Devin. The other two had it 115, 113. That was more of what I saw, 7 rounds to 5. That's what I had it. Okay, but at the end of the day, this whole highway robbery is like, man, you guys sound crazy as cat shit. Highway robbery because a dude landed 5 punches more than his opponent. And again, I would feel stupid saying I just fought a guy and went 12 rounds and was only able to land 5 punches more. And again, there was a lot of punches that I seen Loma throwing that was not landing, but the fans, just because his hands is moving, okay. And basically, it is what it is. Basically, people just get caught up in that. They because the fans are cheering it. Hey, come on. A football team could be losing 35 to nothing. That team that they're beating, the hometown team, they score one touchdown. The fans are going crazy, right? Because they finally got on the board. That doesn't mean that they're winning. Let's just be real, all right? So, in saying that, we just have too many people that just get too caught up into their feelings about what happened. They make it personal. You see people standing around shaking their heads, punching their hands, like looking like they're about to break down and cry. So when I saw Lomachenko sitting at the post conference, I saw him sitting back there. It wasn't even the live post conference. It was a separate. It's on here where you see Loma sitting there holding his face, crying. I'm like, man, suck it up. If you feel like you won and you got robbed, man, it could have been worse. It could have been worse. I mean, it is what it is. I can't speak for other people. I just don't understand all the crying and I mean, I listen. I don't know what goes on in people's lives, so I don't know what that was connected to. But just the simple fact of you losing a fight, yeah, you know, I feel like more fighters need to understand when you go into a fight to win, your opponent comes to win as well. So it doesn't matter how many people are saying you won. It doesn't matter how many people are saying that you lost. At the end of the day, if you're pushing the pace and you're talking about what you could have did or you thought you did enough or whatever, my whole thing is this: leave it all in the ring. Because at the end of the fight, for any fighter to say, I can continue to go on, I still got a lot left for what, if that's how you really feel, then that means you were holding back. And there was a reason you were holding back. So I don't understand all the crying. And we saw AJ break down. He tried two attempts with a guy, and he failed, and he felt like he pushed himself as hard as he could. It was frustration going on. AJ gets a ton of criticism, and everything, that just a lot going on. And like I said, you don't know what goes on in a person's personal life, but it's like, man, even at the press conference, I forgot what somebody sent me a message, and I was watching. I was rewatching the because I didn't see the post conference until after I got home, the replay of it. But I saw the fight live when it happened. But I mean, when I was watching it, whatever channel I was watching on, I remember I typed in, man, Loma looked like he's trying to hold tears back. And people was LOL, but I was serious. I wasn't joking. Like, yeah, he looked like he was trying to hold tears back. And when he went backstage, this is another video where you guys can see it if you didn't. I mean, there's nothing to really see, but you'll see what I'm saying. He's sitting there and he just broke down in tears. And like for me, I just don't understand that. As a kid, you might cry if you lose in a video game or something like that, or whatever it may be. But it's like you learn, you grow, you learn. Man, look, stuff is not going to always happen your way. I mean, who played a video game as a kid? Okay, or even as an adult, who's played a video game? And let's say you have it on rookie, right? And then one day you go turn the game on, and you're playing, and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, this dude is tearing my ass up. I normally, okay, wait, something's wrong, right? Let's say the person sitting next to you go, nah, it's on the same level. Like, nah, hell no, it's not. And you go check, yeah, it's on like Super Pro or something, right? How do you know? Because you've been playing, you're trying to get better, and you realize, nah, no, hell no, this is not the same. It's the same thing in the ring, man. You're in that ring, okay, I have to make adjustments. There's things I need to do differently. When you can't, because it's danger there, you sense danger. Now, if I do that, he's countering with this, and I'm barely getting away from it. Okay, let me find something else to do. So it's a chess match. That's all. And the only thing you can do is say, man, I came in and gave it all, my all. That's all. And I came up short. He was the better man. And if you feel like, You mean, what are you crying for if you got robbed? You understand? You're grown ass men. What are you crying for if you feel like you got robbed? AJ was crying because he lost and he knew he lost. He gave it his all and couldn't fit. What am I doing? I lost. I mean, damn, here I am, two-time unified champion. Now I'm sitting here and I'm losing not once but twice to the same guy. It's like it is what it is, man. I mean, I get it. And, just like Loma, AJ is always like humble. He never talks trash about his opponent. He just come to fight. But, I mean, just saying, I don't understand all the crying, man, and all, especially if I feel like I got robbed. Then why am I? And you remember his trainer when he was sitting there in front of the people said, "You see, the guy's laughing, he's smiling, talking. He knows he won the fight, and it's they highway robbery, yeah, in front of the fans. But behind closed doors, he was crying like a baby. Not even just tears, but he was bouncing, crying. All right, we seen Jamel Charlo did the same thing when they robbed him against Tony Harrison. Now I felt like Tony Harrison lost the first fight. I scored it for Charlo. I thought Charlo won. Now Tony Harrison's body language was completely different. When Devin went back to his corner, he was putting his finger up, and when he was giving the decision, he was tapping his chest, putting his finger up. Tony Harrison was walking, just looking and shaking his head. You could see like, damn, he definitely didn't feel like he did enough to win. His body language was completely different. But regardless, the judges saw it in a different way. Okay? And you remember what Janelle Charlo said when he was sitting there? I hate to lose anything. That's why I don't even play video games, because I hate to lose. Okay? So again, I don't understand all the goddamn crying, man. When you win, you talk shit, you jump around, call yourself the best. You lose. Fuck it. It happens. Move the fuck on to the next one. We all take a L at something in life, one way or another, right? So, I mean, I'm just saying, man. And not only that, you guys are getting paid millions of dollars, multi-millions of dollars. You guys are in a position where you can still be productive and go out there. Look, Lomachenko, you got Shakur Stevenson out there. I'm pretty sure he'll take the fight. Tank Davis is out there. I mean, well, he has himself in a situation for 90 days or whatever. I don't know exactly when he's sent there, his home arrest or whatever the hell it is. But whatever. Bottom line, you got that fight out there. You have options, man. It's not like you lost this fight and now it's all over for you. No, there's options out there for you. And the good thing about Devin Haney is there's guys now, if they really feel like, people always say a guy was exposed. Let me explain something about this exposing nonsense. Okay. Devin Haney was not exposed. Devin Haney fought an experienced veteran fighter who still can go in there and fight. Who still has it. And he fought a guy that was once pound for pound. Okay? That's what he fought. How the hell was he exposed? You're exposed when you fight a much lesser opponent. Okay? And that person is giving you trouble. Not because you're having a bad night. It's just that person is bringing something to you. It's not even so much exposing a fighter. People really overuse that word. What happens a lot of times is a fighter figure you out. They understand what they're doing. That's all. And people saying, well, he was exposed because he did. No. How was he exposed? Do you know he nullified so much of the shit that Loma was trying to do? Like Loma trying to get on the inside. Loma spent a lot of time on the outside. And when he was trying to get in, he was fighting in spurts. He was throwing his jab in spurts. This is what I saw Loma doing. Loma would have moments in the round where he would start letting his hands go and the crowd was like, but he's not really hitting shit. And even when he was landing stuff, it's like, it's 3 minutes in a round. Okay, so if you're, landing a shot here, shot there, miss, nothing, moving around, posturing, now you're getting counted. And then you throw one flurry and the crowd goes crazy. But let's just say in that whole round, you landed 6 punches and your opponent landed 9. You still was outlanded. That's the whole thing. And what he didn't have consistency in dominating rounds. 10 and 11 was his rounds, clearly. Those rounds, I didn't even have to, it was like, nah, he definitely won 10. He definitely won 11. I don't remember what rounds I gave to him earlier, but again, the 5 rounds that I had him, that I saw him win, only 10 and 11 was like decisive. Like, yeah, he won those rounds. Okay. Devin Haney's rounds that he won, I felt like he edged them. Okay. And like he won those rounds. Okay. But what Loma was doing was probably more memorable. You understand what I mean? The rounds that he won. Whereas Haney was winning the chess match type rounds. But then towards the the later stretch of the rounds, which is what Loma does, he comes on strong towards the end. That's what I saw. There was no dominant performance from either person. No doubt. So all this robbery, like you guys are so in your feelings that it's ridiculous. And for Chantelle Cameron, again, because I wanted to mention her because a lot of people don't really want to cover female boxing, man. They really don't. And I try to spread it out to where you don't just have a ton of females fighting like that people even know. And I don't want to make videos about people that you guys don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. Oh, I don't know that person, whatever. So at the end of the day, just saying, yeah, this was a weekend of fights where, decisions were made that people didn't agree with, and that's fine. But, when you guys are hollering robbery, it's one of these situations where if you sit back and watch the fight, take your feelings out, I guarantee you that I already had people say, you know what, I watched the fight again, to be honest with you, I don't feel like it's a robbery. The fight was close. And some people said they thought that it could have went either way. Then you had people that said they thought Devin won. You had people that, the majority saying that they thought Loma won. But then you had the people that made, like I said, the stupid comment talking about it could have went either way, but the wrong man won. No, then it couldn't win either way. That makes zero sense. It could have went either way, but the wrong man won. Okay. If it was football, perfect example, it could have went either way. Buffalo Bills, New York Giants. When they had that Super Bowl back in the 90s, whatever year it was, I don't remember, but if Scott Norwood makes this field goal, the Buffalo Bills win. It was a low-scoring game. It was a very, very solid defensive game. Scott Norwood misses the kick. He wins. He makes it. The Bills win. He misses. The Giants win. Okay? Not enough time on the clock. That's it. Gone. Giants win. So that game could have went either way depending on if he makes that field goal. So there was neither team dominated. Okay? So that's the closest thing you're going to get to like a boxing decision when it comes to something like that. But that's what and that's my whole thing, man. Like, stop it. And for the record, Chantelle Cameron's win over Katie Taylor was far more decisive than Devin's win over Loma. But you're still getting people saying the same exact shit. So it's what I'm saying. Salute to all the fighters that participated, undercard and everything. And fighters don't get their just due a lot of times. And, the guys like Keyshawn Davis and Frank Martin, Jared Anderson, Frank Sanchez, I want to see these guys, in better positions. But I'm telling you guys, you got to learn to start marketing yourselves, because all it is hard nose to the grind. I'm working, but nobody knows who you are. By the time, and if you notice in this era, and this is why I like what I'm seeing Haney do, what I'm seeing Shakur Stevenson do, and what Tank's been doing. Ryan Garcia haven't been fighting as much as people would like to see him fight. But all these guys that's out here trying and actually putting themselves in the big fights, because a lot of these guys are not getting recognition until they're like 30 years old. If you look at the Charlos, Canelo was already making it, but Andres and J-Rocks and all these guys around them, I mean, the Charlos, different guys, they're still trying, even though they're champions, they're still trying to get their names out there. They're still trying to be that guy. And these guys are already 33, 34 years old. Okay, so how much longer are they going to be able to perform at the highest level? So be glad, you know. And with Katie Taylor, again, with that, let's not start. We're not going to play the age thing either, because now I'm hearing, oh, Chantelle Cameron's bigger, stronger, younger, and I think Katie Taylor maybe just at the no, stop it. Then, and if you feel like that, what would the purpose of a rematch be? Because if that's the case, she's only going to get older, right? She's not going to get younger. Just say Chantelle Cameron was the better fighter. Until they fight again, we don't know. Does Katie win the rematch? Does Chantelle, retain? We don't know. But as of right now, Chantelle is the better fighter between her and Katie Taylor. Every time you got to bring up what Katie Taylor did and calling her the greatest of all time and all that, that's your opinion. And that does not change the fact that Chantelle Cameron won. And that's part of what I mean about you trying to shit on what Chantelle Cameron just did. And this is hurting boxing. The powers that be, different boxing personalities, they're trying to be so loyal instead of being fair that it's fucking up the sport. It's fucking up the sport. And it's been fucking up the sport. That's one of the things. It's so many different things, but that's one of them. You cannot build stars, okay? Because what you're doing, you cannot build stars by shitting on someone for winning a fight. It's just like, example, because when you do that, the fans watching are kind of like, are we supposed to cheer for that person to boo that person? They go with what's popular. It's just like a song. Whatever is the hot song on the radio, you got people who don't even like that fucking song, but that's what everybody's bumping to, so I'm going to bump it to. That's what they do. Not me personally, but that's what people do. Okay, if you are in a relationship, right, and you go home talking bad about your wife to your family, or your wife go back talking bad about you to her family, you know what you're going to do? You're going to cause the people that you're talking to build a dislike for that person. Now, if y'all do smooth things out, you know what everybody's going to remember? You constantly come to them telling you how she ain't shit. Her going to her family telling them how you ain't shit. So now you don't feel comfortable being around each other's families because y'all get treated a certain way, but it's because of your own actions and words. Same thing. You're trying to build stars. You're trying to build them. Then give these people their just due. Stop making excuses. You don't have to try to shit on Chantelle Cameron. You don't have to try to shit on Devin Haney. You have to try to shit on Alicia Baumgartner. You don't have to try to shit on Clarissa Shields. Why? Because they're winning? So at the end of the day, y'all had no problem trying to shit on Floyd. I mean, there's always somebody who y'all purposely, I don't like that person. I don't know these people to like them or dislike them. There are some people who I don't care for because of what comes out their mouth. And for me, lately it's been Teofimo Lopez, that ignorant shit that he said. And there's a whole lot more people that, yeah, they got shit inside of them you don't know. But until they say it, I don't keep my ear to the street so I can, let me see who I don't know. That was just some ignorant shit that came out of his mouth. And he's letting you know how he really feels. Frustration does not make me say something I don't want to say. If I say it, I meant it. If it hurt your feelings, so what? I meant it. I said it. So we're grown-up people here. Hold people accountable. I just wanted to take this time to say this because I don't want to talk about this shit again. You understand what I mean? If something else spawns off of this, we'll talk about that maybe if I feel the need. But I don't want to talk about this video again. So this is why I took the time and why I try to make them lengthy, because I don't do lives. You know, I sometimes I kind of think about doing lives, but then it's just like, I kind of do and I kind of don't. So anyway, like I said, salute to those fighters that participated yesterday. And Chantelle Cameron, hopefully she finds herself in the main event position. The same energy that they put into, boosting up Katie Taylor, the same energy that they put into boosting up Savannah Marshall, put that into her. Why not? She was the one that won but wasn't supposed to. And that's all that came down to. You see people like Michaela Mayer, who every time she's on a video, she cannot stop saying Alicia Baumgartner's name. I don't care what it comes down to. I don't care what the interview initially is about. They just cannot. She cannot avoid bringing her name up, and she cannot avoid responding to questions. At some point, it's like, listen, right now my focus is on this person. I'm not worried about Alicia Baumgartner. I go over here, I take care of this person. When that fight's done, we see what happens. I want that fight, but until we actually negotiate, there's nothing to talk about. It's simple. Simple. But you keep revisiting that loss. and keep bringing it up and bringing it up. Now, the worst thing that can happen to you is you're doing all that talking, then you go in there and lose to somebody that you're supposed to beat. Now, guess what? Alicia Baumgartner is going to laugh at you even more. So it's better to just keep her name out of your mouth and focus on you. That's my point. And instead of building your brand up, people want to just come in and cry about bullshit. Talk about who they want to fight, how they was robbed, this happened, that. But yet, they do not want to focus on, let me build my own brand. You know, I remember a content creator made a comment about Floyd Mayweather saying, every time Floyd, I never seen nobody like Floyd, always want to talk about himself. But you know what's crazy? The same content creator never says, why do y'all keep talking about Floyd? Floyd is retired. You know why Floyd mentions himself? Because he hear the comments that you guys make. He sees things he know. And it's like you trying to spin a false narrative about me. You trying to kick dirt all over my name. And I'm supposed to just sit back and let you guys do that. But see, the thing is, not only are you trying to kick name, but you lie and twist things. So I'm telling you how things really go. You know, and so yeah, you trying to tarnish my name? Nah, but I'm polishing my own shine. Not you. I don't need you to do that for me. My career is what it is, and I'm still successful. You understand? So when people are making videos saying Floyd can't read, Floyd is broke, he's doing exhibitions because he has no money, and you guys are LOL, ha ha. Like, I mean, all of this dumb shit. Do you ever think about that? But because he's accomplished what he's done, still going strong, 45 years old, still in there, you know, getting in exhibitions with guys half his age and beating him, right? Now, all of a sudden, Manny Pacquiao needs a favor. All this different stuff. But see, again, it's like you guys keep bringing Floyd's name up. To this very day, anytime you see a video of Canelo, if they make 20 videos about Canelo, at least 12 to 15, Floyd's name is on them. And at some point, the videos where his name is not being mentioned, they will be. And they always revisit 2013. Like they're going to change the decision. And for all the people talking about Floyd lost that fight, I mean, it's what I'm saying is like, man, people, it's certain people you can't even talk to. It is like, it's not necessary. That's the people that will stand up and give a public announcement to the kids and say, to all the little kiddies watching, crack is good. Use it. Because you had to have been smoking crack if you think Canelo came even close to winning that fight. No way. So bias and you know, realization is different. Now people can have an honest opinion on what they see. People see things different. It's like watching the bodybuilding contest. I've seen guys, you know, win and they had someone pretty much similar structure and everything, but they had the flat six pack. Then you got that guy with the bulky fat, but got the six pack on top of that big bubble. But they win. When that other guy's shredded and he doesn't have that, right? So just saying, different judges, same contestants, the decision can go somewhere else. But this fight was no robbery. With Haney, this fight was no robbery with Cameron. It's just that the people, the majority of people that wanted to see the opposition win, they didn't. So they're losing their shit. Anyway, I'm tired of talking about this shit. Talk to me in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.